Hey, what's up? I wanted to make you guys a 2.4 video over the product rule, seeing how we have a pep rally today and everybody won't be able to sit in class due to whatever situation. So, man, we're going to talk about the product rule right here. All right, it says the derivative of the product of two differential functions is equal to the first function times the derivative of the second plus the second function times the derivative of the first. So literally, guys, here it is. All right, it says the product of the second derivative times the first function plus the product of the second function times the derivative of the first. Okay, now my recommendation to you is, first and foremost, you need to come over here or off to the side, find the derivative of x first, and then find the derivative of g. All right, of g of x. Sorry, find the derivative of g. All right, reason being is because it makes it just a plug and chug after that. And here's what. All right, first I have this function y, find the derivative. All right, yes, I am aware, guys, you could distribute this and get the same answer. All right, that's what we're going to get, but there's a reason why I'm teaching you the product rule, which is useful moving forward with certain type of problems. You're going to want to know it. Now, right here, f of x. All right, I'm going to take, well, here, let's call this one f of x, and we'll call this one g of x. All right, so f prime of x, all right, if you remember how to find a derivative, which you should, you just took a midterm, the derivative of x is going to be 4, all right, and the derivative of 3x squared, that's 6, so 6x. The derivative of g is going to be, that's a constant, so that's 0, and the derivative right here, that's -3. So now, what I do to find the derivative of y is going to be the first function, 4x plus 3x squared, times the derivative of the second function, so times -3, or here I'll just use parentheses, all right, plus the product of the second function times the derivative of the first. Now, what I do here is I distribute, so -12x minus 9x squared, and right here I fool, so 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 6x is going to be 36x. -3x times 4 is -12x. And -3x times positive 6x is -18x squared. And now all I do is combine like terms. So I have 9x squared and -18x squared. That's going to be -27x squared. Then I have -12x plus 36x, and that's going to be 24x, and then 24x minus 12x is a 12x. And then I have 24x, my only constant, or 24, excuse me. So there's our final answer. This is the derivative of that function above. Again, you can foil this, then take the derivative, and you'll get the same answer. I am aware of that, okay? Here's another example right here. All right, same type problem. Since this function is called f of x, I'm going to call this g of x and call this h of x. All right, or better yet, I'm just going to call this y for right now. Call that y. So that way, f of x, g of x. So we have practice. So the derivative, let me use another color. The derivative of f of x is 2x, and the derivative of g of x is 2. So the derivative of this function right here is going to be the first function times the derivative of the second plus the product of the second function times the derivative of the first. So right here I distribute to get 2x squared plus 2, and right here I get 4x squared plus 14x. And then I'm going to simplify. So 2x squared plus 4x squared is 6x squared. And then I just have 14x. And then we have 2. So there is the derivative of this function here. Now, keeping the same theme going. All right, this is f of x. This time, just for the sake of doing it, so you know, so you understand what I'm writing, I'm going to call this one g of x and h of x. All right, two functions within this function. All right, they're just functions, guys. It's all right. All right, so g of x. Let's find. Well, first of all, I'm going to rewrite g of x. Let me rewrite that for you guys. Before I take the derivative, this is before I take the derivative. I'm going to rewrite this right here. As remember, we can move this to the top. All right, so we'll have 1 times x to the negative 1 because that power is 1. And if I move it to the top, it's now negative. Like that. And then when I take the derivative of it, all right, remember, this is negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. And then I have x. And then remember right here, you got to subtract by 1 with the exponent. So negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And then the derivative of a constant is 0. So there we go right there, which we need to rewrite this as 1 negative 1 over. I want to move this whole variable and this exponent to the bottom. So there we go. It's positive now. So here's the derivative of g of x. All right. And then for h of x, well, right here we can find that derivative. That's just, see that exponent is 1, so 1 times 2 is 2. So 2. All right. Okay, we have our derivatives of g of x and h of x. Now I'm going to find the derivative of f, the function f. So if you remember the rule is the first function times the derivative of the second, right? The derivative of this one plus the second function times the derivative of the first. Now, we simplify by multiplying. 2 times 1 over x. Remember, you multiply a whole number to the top. So it's going to be 2 over x. And then 2 times 1 is 2. Right here, negative 1 over x squared multiplies to 2x to give us a negative. So I'm actually going to erase that and put negative 2x over x squared. And then we're going to do negative 1 over x squared times 1, which is negative 1 over x squared. And now we need to simplify. And if you look right here, and I'm going to do it off to the side. Negative 2x all over x squared. Well, if you remember, x squared is x times x. And the reason I did this is so you can see that cancels. So I'm left with negative 2 over x. All right, and then I have minus 1 over x squared. That doesn't simple. Now, the reason I left this like this is so you can see 2x minus 2x. All right, 2 over x minus 2 over x. All right, 2 minus 2 is 0 over x, which is 0. So these cancel out. And I'm left with 2 minus 1 over x squared. All right, there we go. If you didn't understand, please just rewind it, guys, and look at it. All right. Again, right here, I'm going to call this g of x and h of x. So for g of x, we're going to rewrite this one again as 1 x to the negative 1 plus x. I rewrote this. Remember, move that to the top. You have a negative now. Negative exponent. So when I find the derivative of g, Alright, I just rewrote this. All this is rewriting this. Now I'm going to find a derivative of this. So negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. X to the negative 2. And the derivative of this, remember, 1 times the imaginary 1 that's out front right here, is 1. Alright, because 1 minus 1, when you subtract, is 0. So that's gone. So here's the derivative right here, which I'm going to simplify further as negative 1 over x squared, because again, move that whole thing to the bottom. And then I still have plus 1. So this is the derivative of g. And then we have the derivative of h, which is going to be 2. And now I just apply the rules that we've had the whole time. Alright, where you have the derivative of the first function, of the first function times the derivative of the second function plus the second function times the derivative of the first. Ooh, I almost wrote the wrong thing. 1 over x squared. Plus 1. There we go. So now we have 2 over x plus 2x, right? Distribute the 2. And then right here you have 2x over, or 2x times negative 1 over x squared becomes a negative 2x over x squared. Alright, plus 2x plus, right here, negative 3 times a negative 1 is 3. And then negative times positive is negative 3. And now, simplify this again. Alright, if you remember, sidebar right here, 2 over x. Or x squared, one of the x's cancel out. So minus 2 over x plus 2x plus 3 over x squared minus 3. So now 2 over x minus 2 over x cancels. 2x plus 2x is going to be 4x. We still have plus 3 over x squared and minus 3. There we go right there. F prime of x. There we go. Now right here it says find a derivative for each function. This one you just distribute first. So y equals 6x cubed plus 15x squared. And now find the derivative. Alright, so you're going to get 18x squared plus 30x. This one, rewrite it by distributing first. So 6x squared plus 15x. And now take the derivative, 12x plus 15. I know I went through those lines was kind of fast, so if you need to rewind it, just rewind it. Alright, right here, the product rule can be extended to products that have more than 2 factors. For example, if f, g, and h are differentiable functions of x, then, alright, it's the same rule. You do the derivative of the first times the product of the second and third function plus the derivative of the second times the first and third function. Alright, and then the derivative of the fourth or the third function times the first 2 functions. Alright, just like that. So again, how I will start off by finding the derivative of all 3 functions first. So I'm going to call this g of x, h of x, and I don't want I want to say b of x. Alright, like that. So g of x, the derivative, is 3. For h of x, the derivative is 4x. And b of x, the derivative is negative 9. Okay, like that. So now, if you just follow this model right here, all right, the derivative of f would be 3, the derivative of the first one times the second and third function, all right. Hold up, let's do this. Oh, I need to make this bigger.
Play that boy.
Space. Alright, and then we're going to go plus the second derivative, which we said was 4x, times the first and third function. And lastly, the third, well, here, I'm going to do this. So this is a negative, I'm going to do negative 9 times the first and second function, like that. Alright. Now, distribute here. So that gives me 6x. Here, I'm just going to distribute here. You don't have to FOIL this to both of these. Just distribute to one of them. So 6x squared minus 6. And then everything else won't change because we got to eventually FOIL.
Play that boy.
Right here, distribute 4x. So that's 12x squared plus 4x. And then we still have this. And then I'm going to distribute the negative 9. So that gives me, let's see, negative 9. And I know you're like, why I put a plus back right here? Well, because I'm just distributing to this first one right here. So that gives me a negative 27x minus 9 times 2x squared minus 2, like that. So now I can FOIL this part. And in doing so, I get 6x squared times negative 9x, and it's going to be a negative 54x cubed. 6x squared times negative 10 is going to be a positive 60x squared. Sorry about that. Negative 6 times negative 9 is a positive 54x. Negative 6 times 10 is a negative 60. Now for this one, we have 12x squared times negative 9x. That's going to be a negative 108x. And then 12x squared times 10 is going to be positive 120x squared. Sorry. Cube. That's cube, by the way. I'm Russian. That's cube. Okay. And then 4x times negative 9x is going to be a negative 36x squared. And 4x times 10 is a positive 40x. Lastly, negative 27x times 2x squared is going to be a negative 54x cubed. And then negative 27x times negative 2 is positive 54x. And then negative 9 times 2x squared is a negative 18x squared. And negative 9 times a negative 2 is a positive 18. Now let's simplify everything. I'm going to start with the cubes first. I have negative 54x cubed right here. That one, and that one. So negative 54x cubed minus 108x cubed minus 54x cubed is a negative. Well, negative 54 is a negative 108. And a negative 108 plus a negative 108 is a negative 216x cubed. Alright, I'm done with those. Now x squared, I have 60x squared and negative 36x squared. and negative 18x squared. Alright, so I have 60. Is that negative? Yes, it's positive 60. Alright, negative 18. Negative. Alright, 60 and 120 is 180, right? And then 180 minus 36. Alright, so we end up with a positive 126x squared. And then I'm done with those x squareds. Oops. One more. There we go. Alright, and now I have 54x plus 40x. And that's going to be, hold on, is there another single x term? No. So 54x, that's 94x. 54x, 94x. Oh, plus 54x is going to be 148x. And then I have negative 60 plus 18, and that's a negative 42. So there is our derivative right there of f of x. Alright. Okay, I think that is it. You have plenty of practice problems. Here they go, in case you didn't know. I really hope this video helps, and I will see you. Wait a minute, there's more problems. I'll see you in class. Catch you later.